Learning for Machines and Humans. When I was in college, one of the classes I took was on machine learning. According to the dictionary, machine learning is a field of inquiry devoted to understanding and building methods that learn. Learning is hard though, for machines and for humans. There are about 100 lessons I wish I could teach my children and friends by just telling them about it. Lessons I learned by living life. But it's not as easy as that. Some lessons are learned best by experience. In computer science, there are two broad categories of machine learning. Learning from interacting with the environment, also known as reinforcement learning. This is how children learn. They walk around and they encounter their surroundings and they just touch, look, feel, even taste things. Everything in their sphere. Learning from massive amounts of data, also known as supervised or unsupervised learning. So this is where we've been seeing an explosion in learning. One example is your device or phone has facial recognition built in, so it knows when you're taking a selfie to focus on the eyes and the nose and the mouth. The trouble with learning from data is the quality and the variety of data. So the algorithm can only learn based on the amount of data that you feed and also the variety and the quality of data that you feed. So there's this famous example where at a university, a bunch of grad students train an algorithm to recognize faces using their faces. Well, guess what? Because the data was such a small and not very diverse, the facial recognition was very good at recognizing faces of young men of a certain age, but not so good at other types of faces. So training using data only works when you have tons and tons of data of variety and quality. On the other hand, children learn using just experiencing their environment. And they encounter everything and they start learning by just touching, feeling, looking, hearing, and tasting. So when the children are young, they're just open and they're like sponges. They absorb everything that they encounter and they learn something from it. What I find really interesting is that once they start growing up though, they shift their learning from interacting and experiencing to remembering past learnings, historical events. And so they're kind of going from reinforcement learning to data-driven learning. And the data is limited to their experiences of life. And assuming that the data that we collect during one lifetime is a sum of all our experiences and all the anecdotes that we've heard from our family and friends, is a drop in the bucket. So relying on this restrictive data doesn't yield good results. So we stop learning new things because we're using the data that we've collected only in our lifetimes. So what I notice is that somewhere along the way, in the process of growing up, maybe taking ourselves way too seriously, we lose our ability to learn experientially. So what does that mean? Being like that 2-year-old child that's just open and just being a sponge and just taking in new experience without judgment, without expectation, and just learning something new from every interaction. We stop doing that as we get older. So what gives, right? You would think that humans would be smarter than machine learning algorithms that we are programming. So let's look at how we learn. Let's keep the data. The data is good. That's useful. However, let's be open, like a 2-year-old, to new experiences, new learning, and constantly create new experiences to learn from. And also, let's share these experiences with everyone, because the more we have data, the more variety and quality data that we have, the better and the learning and the more effective the learning will be. So who's ready to learn and create new experiences with me. So I know this is a short video and this is just my musings, but I'd love to hear, what do you think of this idea? Please let me know in comments. Please subscribe and like this video and share. Thank you.